You still do not want to reveal to the public the guidance you got from the president?
I don't have any problem revealing to the public what I have spoken with the president, because like I told you, everything I say to the president, or every discussion I hold with the president, comes from a very honest place. So, of course, we discussed a number of things about the speakership race. I don't want to hold my discussion as the formal position of the president, because that was my discussion with him.
Did he ask you to drop your support for Anita?
However, I will just give you a conclusion that from that discussion, I noticed that Anita, Right Honorable Speaker Anita Among, had been told to step down after another caucus that wasn't the NRM caucus, after another engagement that involved her and a number of other leaders. And of course, that meant she's no longer in the race.
Many people in Masaka feel like you should focus on the real issues you've been focusing on as senior presidential advisor on Greater Masaka affairs, issues of infrastructure, issues of health. But what makes news is your fight, public wars with fellow members of parliament, like Kabanda,
who?
like Honorable Kabanda.
No, which other one?
Your responses to the CDF and many other things, should those public wars...
I didn't fight with the CDF.
Should those public wars with a fellow member of parliament...
With the CDF. There's no difference between Kabanda and the CDF.
Should those public wars with your fellow member of parliament be making news about Justine Nameere?
Fellow member of parliament, not fellow members of parliament. No, you cannot. Do
you have a personal score to settle with Honorable Kabanda?
Not really. I just know him, and who he is who he is. For me, all I did was to challenge him. I am an advocate against corruption, a very open one. And even in Chankwanzi, I was one of the most vocal voices against corruption. But I told him that if you're coming out to condemn the Right Honorable Annette Among about corruption, yet you have been the same person literally in her daily life, every minute you're with her, every trip you're with her, every day you're with her, and you've been a beneficiary of some of the things they're accusing her about. Things like flaws in procedure, things like flaws in procurement, things like all these shortcomings and grave mistakes that she has done. You, Kabanda, have been one of the biggest beneficiaries. You're driving a vehicle that is meant for commissioners. You're not a commissioner.
You're saying that he's an accomplice?
Yes, you have a card of fuel of 25 million Uganda shillings per quarter, which is meant for commissioners. You're not a commissioner. Kabanda himself has been attending, going for trips of benchmarking and all these things that they call them. He goes for a trip, spends 3 days, but he's given per diem of 2 weeks. So I said, while you are coming out to condemn the speaker, could you be very, very honest about the fact that you have been a beneficiary?
You have a direct line to the president. Why don't you tell him these things?
No, is the president Kabanda's father? I had to tell them to Kabanda because they are both Kabanda.
This is taxpayers' money. If we are to go by what you're saying, if it is true, this is taxpayers' money.
And the things I'm talking about happened in the 11th Parliament. I'm a member of the 12th Parliament. And that's why I was challenging Kabanda, that you as the member, as one of the members of the 11th Parliament, as you come out to show all this disgust towards the speaker, because besides the document of PLU or General MK that Kabanda claims for him, he's just a messenger that read a document. Besides the document, he followed these documents with a barrage of tweets talking about the speaker, talking about how she has done this, how she has influenced judges. Even the speech I saw, actually I think on NBS, of the speech that he gave at the party of Honorable Oboth. I mean, he had all these, he was in full condemnation of everything to do with how the speaker managed parliament. But then he was in full enjoyment of the benefits of how Parliament was being run. So I said, as we fight corruption, we're going to bring everybody to accountability, not selectively, which she took very personally and twisted it into a war. All he had to do was come back and challenge me. Plus, the Speaker and her team were making very grave allegations that Kabanda and 2 other individuals from PLU were asking them for 3 billion each, which comes to 9 or round off to 10 billion, in order for them to save her, in order for them to get the endorsement that she needed from General MK. And I told him these are serious allegations. But besides that recent allegation, you have been a clear beneficiary of this system that you call very, very flawed under the
Honorable Nameere, the same can be said about you. The same can be said about you.
How?
You move around with presidential security. You say to have influenced the decision of the chief magistrate when your votes were being recounted. The same influence he has is the same influence you do have.
No. The case is in court. The case is in court. Everybody who believes there was any influence from me or from my security, please present it before court. That is different from something that has that, because you see what you're saying, that there is room for challenge. But for him, this was documented. Money has already exchanged hands. Benefits have already been enjoyed.
You've been a leader, senior presidential advisor on Greater Massacre affairs. Yes. You have a direct line to the president. Why don't you tell him these things? And yet you call yourself a frontline mobilizer.
Commander 001 NRM stalking.
Yes, and you said that you fight against corruption. You supported. You supported a candidate and publicly supported a candidate whose image was tainted on issues corruption.
The SEC recommended her. The SEC recommended her. We thought they had cleared her of that. For us, by the time you as SEC recommend candidates to us, we believe you have done your due diligence. By the time SEC recommends somebody to us, we believe you have done your due diligence. And a number of times, as open as I am, I would actually ask the Right Honorable Speaker and the Deputy, why are all these things being said about your Parliament? And they had the same answer, that if those things were true, SEC wouldn't have recommended us. So maybe some of these questions you should direct to SEC, that why did you recommend 2 candidates, forward them to members of Parliament or to the would-be electorate when there is a BCD going on?
Honorable Nameere, it's been a pleasure having you here on NBS Face Off.
Just before I sign out, and also just before I sign out, when you say that if you believe someone is corrupt, why don't you tell the president? That's where we all go wrong. This fight is not about the president. This fight is not supposed to be a laden or a burden of the president. This fight is for everybody, me, you, and everybody else. So if I come out and I challenge you that, Canary, this is what's going on. You're saying this person is corrupt, but you are a first-class beneficiary. All you have to do is come out and show that, no, that allegation is false.
Okay,
just like you have asked me and I have explained.
Thank you very much.